Hello everybody, Eric, HWC Automotive, and another episode of You Never Know to be working on next. What we have in the shop is a 72 Isuzu Bellett from Japan, right-hand drive. From my understanding, only a handful of them here in the United States. And we've been having some carburetor issues. So Bailey, say hi Bailey.
Hi Bailey.
He's been doing the work on this thing, and he's been explaining what we've got going on, what we've had to do, and where we're at this point. So tell us what you got going on.
So where we're at with this guy, brought it to us. It hasn't ran in who knows how long. It's been sitting. Tank was completely varnished over, rust pitted, whole 9 yards. We got that cleaned out. Got the fuel system back together. Carbs were gummed up. So here we have, these are the original carbs on this guy. We did try to rebuild these, but after rebuilding, we got them on the car, trying to tune it out. We were still having vacuum issues. So we ended up smoking out carburetors, and these carburetors are actually leaking out of the end seals because the throttle valve shaft wallered the body of the carburetor out, and it will no longer make a seal.
So that's something we really couldn't tell without rebuilding the carburetors, putting them on, putting all new seals in it, and going, whoops, there's still another problem, right?
Exactly. So it's kind of hard to, know that that's going to be a problem until you put new seals in it and test it. And that's what we did. So instead of trying to machine these carburetors that you can't get no more, they're unavailable. So we went with some aftermarket Weber style carburetors, which are these ones. And let me tell you what, these have been a real bear to get to fit. So
we'll put in that they look really similar.
Yes.
I mean, the bore is the same, the mount's the same. I mean, they look very, very similar, but we're running into, they look the same, but boy, they are way different, aren't they?
Yes, they are. So our main issue with these guys in lies, first of all, was fitment. So how the enrichment valves or the chokes work, they're on the back side of these. On these ones, they're on the top side. So we actually had to space the carbs a little bit farther away from the intake runners in order to get the carbs to fit completely on. So that was our first hassle, got that sorted out. And then our next issue was trying to figure out a linkage, because we don't want to destroy the factory linkage in case you'd ever want to go back to that. If you found a shop to fix those, or however the customer wants to go about that, that's out of our hands. So what we're doing is we basically re-engineered a whole steering linkage for these carbs with what they came with. So if you come over here to all the pieces and parts, these are all have been modified. That's garbage. So basically we had to cut and weld and change the tabs to sync the carburetors together, and then also modify the sync here so that way we can attach our throttle cable with a homemade barrel nut style deal here that's secured with a cotter pin, and then also another linkage here for the throttle cable to make everything work. So it's been a lot of put together, trim, take apart, a lot of test and mock up here to make this work.
So these brackets that you've got down here are pretty much custom built, correct?
Yes, these brackets are completely custom built, one-off for this car.
So you've re-engineered the whole throttle linkage to A, sync the carbs, B, to use the original idle screw, and C, use the original throttle cable and make it look factory.
Correct, and also without modifying anything on the car. The car is completely original. It will just be these carbs that are an added aftermarket to this. So, also other things that we ran into was throw on the throttle cable. We had to kind of re-engineer the throttle pedal a little bit to get it to have a little bit more throw so we can get full throttle. The throw on these carburetors is greater than on the originals. So that is something we had to correct as well. But as it sits right now, we're just getting everything cleaned up. We're going to re-plate these with some zinc plating, make them look pretty, get everything cleaned up, mock it up, and then should be ready to tune and hopefully get this guy going for this customer.
And we've also had to redo, or you had to redo, fuel enrichment or slash choke cable.
Yes.
It was too short also?
Yes, so basically how we're rectifying that, instead of replacing the choke cable in the factory car, we're leaving it the same. I just had to add in an extension with some wire here, and then there's a barrel nut that connects the two to activate both of these at the same time.
Alrighty, so that's what we got going on. Even though these carbs look very, very similar, they're unfortunately very, very different. And this is why sometimes it takes a lot of extra time to make things work. Being what the car is and the customer wanting to keep the originality, we're going to a lot of effort to make sure we're not making it look, as the customer would mention, making it look hoopty or modified. So we want to open this hood, and no one will be able to tell the modifications it took to make these carburetors work. We'll take a quick gander here. It's a little dark, but it is right-hand drive. We got the gas pedal down there. Can't really see it in here, but we'll have to modify the gas pedal a little bit to make sure we get that throw he was talking about. And we're gonna make this customer happy. Make sure this car runs as well as it can, if not better than it should. So there's our new spacers, and we're getting everything done on this. And we will continue this video. So what we'll do is we'll pause it here. Say hi again.
Hi.
We'll pause it again, and we will finish this video once these carburetors are on and show how everything functions and how everything goes together. Anything else you want to add, Bailey?
Nope. Just gonna get back to the grindstone, and we'll see you once these guys are all put together and ready to go.
All right, we'll be back in a minute. Hey, it's Eric, HWC Automotive, back on the Isuzu here, continuing this video. Say hi, Bailey.
Hi, Bailey.
All right, so the carbs are in, the linkages are hooked. Explain to the crowd what you have done and make this thing work.
All right, so on this guy, basically now that we had everything prettied up from our previous video, you can see that we are installed here. We have our synchronizing linkage here, back here. That is all bolted up with our custom throttle cable holder there.
Right there is what you made to hold the throttle cable. And then the synchronizing linkages you made pretty much to make these things open and close simultaneously, correct?
Correct. So we got that all bolted up, got them synced up, got our fuel line. We also had to add in a vacuum port, which it's very hard to see in this video, but it is back there.
It's kind of back behind these linkages, correct?
Yeah, you can see where the hose is coming down, about right in there, and it goes down into the runner there. We had to tap into the side of that for our
vacuum advance on the distributor, correct?
Correct, yes. So these carbs do not have a vacuum port like the originals, so we had to do a modification there. As it sits, it is doing good so far. Some couple minor things. We still got to put the air box back in. It's going to take a little bit more modification for how it bolts up to the front of these carbs. No big deal there though. Should fall right together. So.
All right. Well, she runs, right?
Yeah, she runs great.
Let's fire this thing up.
Well, just give her a little key bump here.
Oh yeah, fired right up.
Runs like a top. Still needs some final dialing in here, but preliminary results are good.
Yeah. We wanted to test drive this thing today, but today here in Ohio, it's raining, it's cold, it's crappy. So we won't be driving this thing today, but hopefully here soon, we will be driving this car. So all right, so that's pretty much wrapping up the custom linkage for the carburetors on the 72 Isuzu Bellett from Japan. And the owner a while back sent me a picture of one of these in a rally course. So apparently they use these in rally courses in Japan. So this thing's pretty cool. So we'll do a final video on this when we're driving it and everything and it's ready to go back to the customer. But thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, because you never know what we'll be working on next. Bye.